Hey everyone, welcome to another Intro to Java Programming video. This is the last video for the class writing unit, and I want to show you some examples of what the Smiley Part 2 project can look like. Here's one example, and you can see that it doesn't display that well on my screen. We've got three different panels with smiley faces, and they take up a lot of space, and on my screen here, even with a relatively large monitor and high resolution, these smiley faces are stacking like this and going off the screen. That's not great. So you might want to make sure you're not making your application so huge. Another thing about this one is it doesn't work 100% correctly. Well, why am I showing you one of the ones that's kind of a bad one to start with? I mean, it's not bad. It does almost everything that it should do, but it's just got a couple of problems. Here's the other problem. As I make a smiley face smaller or larger, the parts don't stay inside of it. Well, this should have been a problem that you already solved on your Smiley Face Part 1 project. You shouldn't have any problems keeping the parts in there. Now, the good things. What did this do that meets the goals of the assignment? So goals of the assignment are to do a couple things. One, write a class called Smiley Face. That'll be a JPanel class. And that JPanel class is going to be used in your frame class, and they should be separate classes. So write one class called Smiley Panel or Smiley or whatever, and another one called Smiley Frame. And you'll see, you've already seen some videos that do this with circles and all that kind of stuff. But you're just going to do it with smileys. And you need to have it so that you can make 3 smileys in your frame, a minimum. You could make as many smileys as you want in your frame. And each smiley should be able to be controlled independently. Now, the way that this student did it is she had a set of controls for each smiley face. So this smiley face here has its own set of controls. This smiley face here has its own set of controls, and this smiley face here has its own set of controls. You just can't see them because they're off the screen. And each of those controls control a different attribute of that smiley face. When I talk about attributes, I'm talking about one of those qualities. An attribute in this case could be the position. The position is controlled left, right, up, and down. That's an attribute. Left isn't an attribute, right isn't an attribute, up isn't an attribute, and down isn't an attribute. Those would be 4 separate values of that position attribute. Color of the head would be another attribute. So this student had a button that changes the color randomly. Size is another attribute, so smaller, larger. So I've got size, position, and color. Those are 3 separate attributes, and they use several buttons to do that. Eye size is another attribute. It's got 2 different controllers for eye size. And then eye color is another attribute. So this student had 5 attributes: eye color, eye size, position, and size, head size, and color. All right? So this has got some bugs in it, but it meets most of the goals of the assignment. I'm going to show you one that does not have any bugs. And this one has 4 attributes. It's got position, it's got mood, so you can randomly change the mood. It's got color, and it's got eyes open or being closed. Okay, so that's 4 attributes. And here's the last one. This one has more attributes than just 4, and I think this one is quite good. Each one of these smileys has its own set of controls. We've got wink, sad, upside down, laugh, smaller, bigger, so that's one attribute is size, add a nose, remove a nose, face color is another attribute. And each of these works independently of one another. Okay? So the goals of the assignment: make a JFrame that's going to use 3 separate smiley classes. and each smiley needs to work independently of one another. Now you could do it like all these students, where you make a class that's going to be a controller class, kind of like in one of our previous videos with circle, and you make all the controls in there, and then that'll manipulate your circle panel. You kind of move data back and forth between the controller class with the GUI and the smiley panel class that's got this smiley drawn on it. All right, so that's what the project looks like. This is kind of a tricky project, although I think I've given you enough videos and lecture files where you essentially have a template that you can modify. You can take a look back at some of those previous examples and videos and see which ones you can modify to actually do this assignment. Best of luck, and thanks for watching.